that I would take active service in the Navy if the Navy, before I got discharged, would give me an operation for my tailbone.
All right.
That's, in the meantime, Dad wasn't working, so I went to bush as a diamond driller.
Okay, but we're back. We're back. Now you're 17. You're able to be in the Navy. Now what happens?
Oh, I wasn't available to the Navy till I was 17.
Okay, so now you're 17 and a half. Now what happens?
They came back, well, that would be April, eh?
Okay.
October,
Yeah, I understand. You were born in October.
yeah. So that was April. January, February, March.
Okay. Now what happens?
I forget now. I did go back to grade 10. I quit. I was working in the bush. I started grade 10, but I forget how I worked for September, October. I thought I'd get my active call. My dad and Bob had to sign what he called a voucher to let me go into the Navy at 17 and a half.
Okay, so
And they wouldn't sign it.
all right. So now what happened?
Well, I keep working and waited for my call.
Okay, so you get the call when?
I got the call in April, I think it was 44.
April 1944.
Yeah, I went to Saskatoon. I was hoping, I joined up in Saskatoon thinking I would get my ABQ, advanced training in the West Coast. But they fooled me. They sent me to Cornwall.
Okay, and then what happens?
Well, I took my seaman's training. I was put on a small boat for Aztec training as a seaman, the Bay of Fundy. And then, I think it was in January 40, when was VE Day, 45?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
In January, I got drafted to go to Scotland to pick up the latest destroyer for the community. And there was two. We went to Kurik. The ship wasn't ready. So we went on training safaris with the Royal Navy to Scapa Flow. This is during wartime. We were, and then VE Day came along, and we had heard if you signed up for the Pacific Volunteer to fight the Japanese, you got 30 days leave. So I signed up.
I see.
So after, about 4 months in Scotland, 5 months, they ship me back for my 30 days leave. I get home at flip-flop. I'm home. I'm home about 2 weeks, maybe 10 days. I get a cable to go back to Cornwallis and report for commando course. So I go to Cornwallis and I'm on the commando course. It's there, I don't know how many weeks. And I met an officer that I do, and he said, hey, we've been looking for you for the last 2 months. You're supposed to be on the Strathdam, which is in refit at Shelburne, and you're all geared up for the Pacific. And somebody had me down as an ST, and I was an SD.
What's the
Submarine
difference?
detections,
Okay.
seaman torpedoman, submarine detection. So holy cow, the next thing I know, they said, yo, they're waiting, you're under sailing orders to go to the Pacific.
Okay. When was this, Dad?
I know, July or something.
Of what year?
45, eh?
July 1945.
I think so. And the next thing I know, get out to Strathdam. We got all our gear, we're under sailing orders. And we go to Bermuda for some last minute training for the Pacific at the tropic. We come, and I forget now. The next thing you know, September came along, and they dropped the atomic bomb and the Japanese quit.
Okay.
So then, we came back, we went on a big tour all through Boston, New York, and what have you, and Prince Edward Island, and then we had Chilean people come in to buy our boats. I was the last as the crew. But then I'd heard that if you went back to school, you'd get an early discharge.
Okay, and then so
I thought, well, holy whoa, this is great. This was in late November, 45. I applied, and I got accepted I had to get a letter from my school principal at flip-flop to go back and take my high school. So the next thing you know, in December, I get a notice. The ship was sold to the Chileans. I get a notice for an early discharge to go to the DVA school. It's the Fort Platte, Winnipeg, for high school refreshers to go into first year, but I didn't have my high school.
okay.
And so I went back and you had to apply on a monthly basis to write matric exams, and I wrote the matric exams. I started with what we did was we'd go down to the Department of Education, get the exams for the last 5 years, make a matrix of the questions they had, and then study those subjects. And the first one was chemistry for me. And so I make an application, I pass the exam. Then I write for algebra. Same thing we did, the 4 of us. Algebra, I passed algebra. And but before September 45, I had one exam left to write for my matric to go into first year.
Okay.
Manitoba. I wrote that.
So you wrote that, and then you got into university.
I got into first year engineering, University of Manitoba.
That is great. Okay.
And the next thing that happened was I passed everything except the French. I failed French.
Oh, yeah.
So I wrote the sup. My mark was worse on the sup by so I gave up then. And I went and I got a job to go as a miner in flip-flop. I worked for the next 3 years till 49. At the meantime, Art was at auto use at Beth Cullen.
Yeah.
Yeah. He said, Arnold, he said, you might as well come back to school. He had finished his first year for it. And he said, if you make the hockey team, you get half your tuition.
Right. Hockey team, half your tuition.
And try football team, you get the other half. And I had some DVA credits.
What are DVA credits?
You got paid $60 a month
Yeah.
if you were in school.
Okay. All right. So you had those credits as well, and so you went to the University of Ottawa.
So I went to St. Pat's College.
St. Pat's College at the University of Ottawa.
Yeah.
And that's where Art was.
Art was there. Art was in second
Your twin
year.
brother.
Took first year. Yep.
And he was already gone through first year.
Oh, well, he finished first year.
And
I
then
had done first year in Manitoba, but
you did first year in Manitoba.
yeah, at pre-engineering.
Pre-engineering at the University of Manitoba.
Yeah.
What year was that, Dad?
I told you when I was 1946.
Thank you.
1945, 46.
1946. You did pre-year.
But I failed French.
Right. Okay. So the year you
I
failed
was
French.
broke.
And so that's when
I
Art
had
asked you.
also-
Okay, I understand.
No,
So
wait a
now I
minute.
understand.
That's when I decided I gotta work, and I went underground and worked for 3 years. And then Arts talked me to go to
And then-
Ottawa U.
All right. So that's when Art taught you. Let's go back to university.